Hello, I'm Bruce Shaney, and today I'm going to share with you one of my favorite investigations that I have for middle school students. You can also do this with elementary school students, and it starts with this circle that I've cut out of recycled paper.
We used compasses to draw out the circles and then cut them out with scissors, but for younger students, you could draw the circles as patterns and then have the students trace them.
Now to begin with, I'd have them hold it up and drop it and make observations as it's falling.
When dropping them, they were very inconsistent. Each time they would take different paths as it fluttered back and forth, and the time it took to reach the ground would change also. The next step was to draw a 105-degree angle on the center of the circle. Once again, to make this easier, you could also use a pattern. I then want to use scissors to cut one of the lines to the center, bring that cut edge into the other line that's drawn on the circle, and it forms a cone. Add a piece of tape, and it'll keep its shape. That measurement gives us a 90-degree cone. Now it's time to drop them again and make additional observations. No more fluttering around, and the time becomes very consistent.
So now my question is, what are some variables that I can apply to the cone that would make it fall either faster or slower? So I have my students come up with a list.
I have students work in pairs. They pick a problem, make a hypothesis, and then go about coming up with a procedure to test for it.
Usually one of the first possibilities suggested is let's change the mass of the cone. And if we measure it, it looks like it's about 3 grams. So one possibility is to drop the cone and time it. We could then take a second cone, stack it inside, and time that. Put a third cone in, drop it and time that. So we could measure and record what happens as the cones get heavier.
They'll run several trials for data collection, graph the results, and then draw up a conclusion based on their findings.
Another common suggestion was to change the angle of the cone.
Here are measurements that would give you various angled cones. Students can try and measure them using a protractor. Or a third possibility is to cut out the angles on heavy stock paper. They would then adjust the cone to match the cutout. This also gave us data that we could graph.
Several students suggested changing the size of the cone. We made them out of the same type of paper, as large as we could and then as small as we could. I think one of my favorite suggestions was try changing the color. It fits in well with some humor I have on my back wall.
Supposed proof that red is faster than any other color. Of course, students figured out that any differences in time was probably due to errors in building or timing the cones.
One other possibility was to have the cone spin and see if that made any difference.
To get it to spin, cuts were made in the cone. One of the edges was bent down to form a flap, and air hitting this flap would cause it to spin.
How about different fluids?
For this, we tried dropping cones in water. These cones could be made out of aluminum foil, or if you wanted heavier ones, you can make them out of aluminum that's cut out from pie pans. We tested these cones in air and then in water. We also ran some of the same type of tests in the water that we tested in air and came up with similar results. Something else we were curious about was, do these cones eventually reach a terminal velocity? So we tested for this also.
Just for the fun of it, I suggested an idea, and that was to put faces on the cone of various degrees of happiness versus very sad. My prediction was the happy cones would fall faster than the sad cones. So what would be your prediction? 3, 2, 1, go.
That was
Well, it looks like I may have been wrong. But the whole idea of this is to test out your ideas, look at the results, and then draw up your own conclusions.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and come back and see me again.